How I decided to have the first musical in 1971. Well, I came out for an interview for the job. Perry Culver took me on a tour of the school building and brought me into this brand new auditorium in this brand new high school. And I said, this stage has got to be used. I've got to produce musicals here. They said, come up with a budget. I came up with a budget and they said they would back me. When we would see how we would proceed and let me go to prove myself. The decision to do Oklahoma as my first show, well, I had just done the lead in Oklahoma, so I knew the show really well. I played Curly, and that was because I knew the show so well. That's what I decided to do that as our opening show. One of the things I realized after I did Oklahoma, I couldn't do this by myself. It's not a one-man operation, and I was never afraid to give someone the autonomy to do their job. I never feared that. When I would look for someone who had the expertise and the skill and the knowledge to do what I knew I couldn't do. And that's what I realized in working with them. And that's why I developed that production staff and gave these people the opportunity to perform at their best. And if we had a problem, they would come to me with the problem, we'd work the problem out. But it was always working at their best ability, and that's what was exciting.
I started helping with the 1997 production of Crazy for You. So that was the first time that I was vocal coach. And I vocal coached for Merle and for Henry right up until the time that I became the director. It's such a wonderful tradition.
Tradition! Wow. I love tradition. And it's become something that well, it grew into something I never imagined was going to happen when I did Oklahoma and starting the first musical. And what is so exciting is to see how it's being carried on.
The students, the community, the staff, the administration, the school board, everyone is behind the musical and has been for 50 years. And I just think that it's something that we and myself, the production staff, and everyone in the community just wants to keep going. It's for the kids. And it's so good for the kids that I cannot see a day when it shouldn't continue. It's a great tradition.
We were blessed with so much talent in Connellsville. There's an unspoiled quality about these kids. They don't know the talent that they have, and it was so exciting to pull that talent out of them. I said, do you want to soar with eagles or run down here in the earth with a bunch of turkeys? And I said, let's soar with the eagles, okay? And they rose to the occasion. No matter what the challenge was, I tried to convince them that they had the ability to do it and to believe in themselves and do it, and they did. What I loved to do was to present surprises to the audience. Always wanted to thrill them and to show them something they hadn't seen before. We love to bring New York Broadway to Connellsville, and that's what we tried to do when we did these productions. One of the things I was very fortunate with was support from the administration, was that they were always there. The administration always supported me. The school board supported me. The high school administration supported me, and they were backing me the whole time. When we put the productions together, I would present a budget to them. They had to have a budget every year, present the budget to them, and they would say, stay within the budget. We can move things around as far if you need to do money in a different area or anything like that. There was not a problem with that. And they cooperated. That was the biggest thing. I had the cooperation of the school board, the administration. The teachers were fantastic. They cooperated with us. And the students, well, they were the best part. The students were the ones that performed. And when we got them to that level of performance and gave them the opportunities to do their best, this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to get excellence out of the students. And with the cooperation of the whole school working towards this, these students were able to perform at their very best.
I was involved then when I got into high school in 2009. We started at Peter Pan, 2010 Singing in the Rain, and then I got to go out on Grease, which couldn't have asked for a better show to do. So,
the students that were in the musicals are out doing professional things. They're doing professional theater. They're doing, I have a student that's now a nuclear submarine commander. It was my own son. I have students that are doctors, okay, that are going on in the professional world, in science and in education. You would be amazed at how many teachers in this immediate area are graduates from Connellsville High School. They went through our program and they're teaching music and doing this out in the areas around Connellsville. And there are many that are involved in these productions. The memories that I have keep coming back because people come to me and they say, I remember this. The greatest thrill of my life was to be able to walk out on the stage and get that bow. And it might be a stagehand. student that's involved in the universal thing with this is the kids came from all walks of life that worked in the musical, and it gave them an opportunity for recognition they may not get any other time in their high school life. Whether it's a stagehand, whether it's an usher in the auditorium, somebody taking tickets or part of the orchestra, whatever they were involved in, it gives them that opportunity for an individual recognition. And this is what they talk to me about. And those memories just keep coming back and keep fulfilling my life.
The production staff is so important. Without every single one of them, we could not do our shows. It takes everyone working. There are so many people behind the students giving 150, 200% every day just to make sure those kids have everything they need to be as successful as they are.
So my role on production staff, Michelle asked me whenever they did Phantom of the Opera if I would come in and start to do publicity for them. And so my role now is the production coordinator on staff. It is such a blessing to be able to work with these kids every day. It is such a blessing to work with a production staff that is here and so committed to our tradition and our program. But really my job is to produce, to really support the students, and through advertising sales, through making sure that this auditorium's full, and making sure that whenever musical weekend hits, it's the musical weekend that we all remember, and Connellsville is just filled with that atmosphere.
I've had the pleasure of seeing all up to now 49 shows. In the early days of the musicals, the students actually sold the tickets, and my cousin was actually in the musical, and so my mom bought tickets from him. So from the first show, Oklahoma, I was here in the audience at a very young age. And then eventually my sister Kathy was in the musicals, and so we got to see her. And then when I was in high school,
my goal was to never repeat a musical. That was my goal. I wanted to keep going. I didn't want to go back and repeat musicals. But in 1994, when we did Fiddler on the Roof for the second time, that was the year that I looked at the kids and my students, and I thought, wow, I have the perfect cast to do this production again. And this is another thing I realized in choosing musicals. That I didn't choose a musical I wanted to do. I chose a musical to fit the talent that I had. I would study these kids all year. We would go on bus trips and they would sing on the bus or something like that, and I would hear these voices in the background and I would say, oh my goodness, what do I have in talent? And what kind of a musical can I choose that's going to fit the talent that I have? When I chose Beauty and the Beast, my thought was pull out all the stops.
that was Merle's last production. And that year, not only did we do the Sunday performance, but we also had to add a Saturday matinee. So there actually were 5 performances for that production. In 1996, we were doing Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And the unique thing about that show is it actually sold out really early. The tickets were selling out, so we actually added a Sunday performance. So up until 1996, the musical was always Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then when we saw tickets selling out, they added the 4th show.
That was another one that went off of tremendous popularity. We had to extend another weekend because we sold out tickets 2 weeks before the opening night of the show. And I went to New York and applied to New York to see if we could get another weekend, and they gave us the rights to do it. And this is the same thing with adding the extra performance for Beauty and the Beast.
For 35 years, Merle did such a tremendous job. And I know that Henry, had always wanted to do a musical. And we had talked about it, when Merle retired. And Henry said, I really think that I want to do this. And I said, well, I will support you. I will help out, do what I can. And so, he did 9, I believe, musicals.
Henry Molinaro was, first of all, he was my student in high school. He studied private voice with me. Went on to college, came back, taught in the junior high school, was tremendously supportive the entire time. And then when it came time for me to retire, he stepped in and took the tradition and kept it going. This is what was exciting. Yeah.
Okay, and now's the big moment. We have to take a second to thank our producer, our director, and our father figure while we're all here. Since we're here at 8 o'clock most nights, he's the one that yells at us so our parents don't have to. So, Mr. Molinaro, we'd like to thank you for everything you do for us, everything,
Henry Molinaro is one of the most phenomenal men that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing, and getting to do those 3 musicals with him. Henry couldn't help himself whenever he would teach us something or whenever we'd be going through a scene, he always had to find a way to get on stage because that's where he enjoyed it. I'll never forget whenever he had to teach us how to be T-birds. 5 or 6 18-year-old guys walking through the halls with Henry Molinaro leading the charge so he could teach us how to strut and wear our jeans and pull out our combs, and those are the kind of things that you never forget because it was so much more than a musical to Henry.
He actually got to see my first musical. He came to see Addams Family about a month and a half before he passed on. So that was special to me. Remember getting a hug from Henry and him saying, "Good job, Michelle, you did a terrific job."
He truly cared about every one of his students with more passion than I can even begin to fathom. And it's a blessing that I was able to do musicals with him and that all the students that, before me, after me, it was a blessing for all of us to know Henry. And it's a blessing for us every day to go through life with what Henry taught us too. And so he's always with us, for sure.
One last thing I'd like to say, and that is, as I sit here and I see the stage and I think about everything now, and we still have the sets around us, but overall, the magic is gone because the kids have left the stage. And now we're left with an auditorium again and a stage that's empty, and it just shows you there's such a magic that happens with the show. But now it's gone, but it was there for that one bright shining moment, just like the famous story of Camelot. It's there and it vanishes, it's gone. But we had the moment, and we seized the moment. They did it. Thank you. Congratulations.
Music is a lifelong learning experience. And what they learned in high school is something they can continue for the rest of their lives, and that's what they're doing with it.
I sat here tonight hearing some of the most beautiful sounds. It was marvelous working with them as kids, but wow, now that they've grown to adults, those gorgeous voices that I've heard and marvelous people, and it's the people that I started with, the people that I'm working with now, you kids, adults, just thank you so much for so many great memories. It means so much to me. Thank you, everyone.
And to hear that voice mature, hear that student mature, see them mature and sing and act and dance, whatever they're doing, that's the excitement. The tradition has created a tremendous enthusiasm. And to see 300 kids, 200, 300 kids involved in the musical year after year after year, and honoring the tradition that was created before them.
I mean, just to see the students at the end of the show, how proud they are of themselves, how proud their families are of them, their teachers are proud of them, and to see what they've accomplished. Everyone that's involved, all the students, that's the joy. To see the students on set crew look at what they've accomplished and say, we did this. That's the true joy of the musical.
There's a 25th anniversary that back in 1995 that I got to see the DVD of that thanks to the wonderful folks at Armstrong Cable, and we were just so floored by how awesome it was, to see those kind of things. And now we're going to do it for 50 years, and it's going to be so spectacular.
And right now, I would like to call on someone special. Hello, excuse me? Ma'am, can I help you?
My card.
Darlene Levi, matchmaker. That's nice of Mrs. Levi, but see this? I'm already married, so I'm sorry. I don't need your services. Thank you. We are... Darlene Levi, ears pierced. Really? We are trying to do a show here, and I don't think, no, I'm sorry. Right now, I would like to get Darlene Levi, old parts reprised.
When you're a skinny child of 14, wired with braces from ear to ear, you doubt that you could ever be appealing. Then, hallelujah, you are 15 and the braces disappear, and your skin is smooth and clear, and you have that happy grown-up female feelings. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudel, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, warrior geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things.
And I was able to assist Merle with shows as production manager, was also able to assist Henry Molinaro, but I have a unique position now with Armstrong, and as the community marketing manager, Armstrong is also involved with the musical, so I feel very blessed to be able to continue to help with the musical in my position at Armstrong as we've been a presenting sponsor for the last 3 years, and even to help with this 50th anniversary, the involvement of Armstrong with that. It's nice to be able to continue that relationship.
And we're just excited about every aspect of it, from the people that are going to be able to come back, to be able to honor people like Mr. Stutzman and Mr. Molinaro and Mrs. Harbaugh, and all the production staff along the years, the alumni, just to see the cool memorabilia, you know, to see some costumes that you know, Carol Kirk and her staff have put together over the years, and really just enjoy a weekend of having all that, having a great dinner by Sparks Catering, and then hopefully everybody will come up to the show that Saturday night. We have some special things planned for alumni that night as well. But to see what the 50th show is going to be all about, and I can promise you that the students are so excited to present the Disney's The Little Mermaid as the 50th show, and our audience will not be disappointed. I think we're good. Okay. Unless there's anything else you want me to say.
Good job. You did well. Very good. Very good.
I'm so glad we had this time together.